Chapter 31. Now, there is a great advantage of the aspect of the organs, the vessels, over and above the aspect of the lights. This is because there is a greater aspect of inter-inclusion in the organs, the vessels, than in the lights. This is the main aspect of tikkun, rectification. For, as known, the main aspect of tikkun, rectification, comes about because of the abundance of organs, the vessels. Moreover, it is specifically by means of the external aspect of the organ, the vessel, which is the aspect of nehi. This is evidenced by the fact that we find that in some circumstances the light of chesed, kindness, may radiate within an organ, a vessel of gevurah, judgment, or that a light of gevurah, judgment, may radiate within an organ, vessel of chesed, kindness. If this is so, that the light may be exchanged to radiate within its opposite organ, its opposite vessel, if it is because of the light itself, then why can it not become inter-included and bound with a light which is its opposite and opposes it? For example, the light of the attribute of chesed, kindness, will not tolerate the light of the attribute of judgment, din, whatsoever. Rather, we must say that this inter-inclusion is because of the aspect of the organ, the vessel, which has the ability to tolerate an opposite light which opposes it. This is because it is specifically in the organs, the vessels, that the aspect and matter of the inter-inclusion of a thing with its opposite is possible. This is not the case in regard to the lights. Similarly, in man, the main aspect of rectification is from the angle of his body, as we clearly observe with our senses in regard to the nature of man's organs, that each organ contains an inter-inclusion of its fellow organs, to the point that it is possible to rectify a lacking in one organ through healing a different organ. For example, for a problem in the eyesight, healing may be applied to the power of the nerves in the foot, since they include within themselves something of the nerves of the eye. However, in the case of old age and the like, in which the light and vitality of the brain becomes weakened to the point that one's sight becomes weakened, one cannot heal this through strengthening the power and light of the vitality of the emotions of the heart, even though the heart and brain are inter-included with one another. It is only through strengthening the organ of the heart that the organ of the brain may become strengthened, so that the power of the intellect will radiate to a greater degree, and he will thereby have a better degree of vision. This is because there is not as much of a connection and inter-inclusion between the light of the intellect and the light of the emotions as there is between the organ of the heart and the organ of the brain. This is likewise the case in regard to the organ of the eye with the organ of the nose and the organ of the ear and the like. It is for this reason that it is specifically from the angle of the aspect of the organ, the vessel, that it is possible for its opposite light to radiate within it. This will suffice for those of understanding. This may be further understood from our observation that the emotions of chesed, kindness, and gevurah, judgment, are opposites which literally oppose each other. Nonetheless, when these emotions come into an organ, a vessel, such as actual thought, speech, and action, it is possible for the light of chesed, kindness, to radiate in a thought, speech, and action that is its opposite. This is so since it is possible to think and speak and do the opposite of that which is in one's heart. Similarly, a person can become angry in his heart against someone whom he loves in his heart, or he may have mercy in his heart towards someone whom he despises, etc. This is because the heart is prepared to become a receptacle for that which is its opposite, since there is a greater inter-inclusion of one thing and its opposite in the organs, the vessels, rather than the lights. The fact that in jubilation there is trembling and in wrath there is mercy, or the opposite, that in trembling there is jubilation and in mercy there is wrath, is all specifically due to the organs, the vessels. We similarly find this matter in the 6 days of creation. The first day is the aspect of chesed, kindness, of let there be light, while the second day is the aspect of the gevurah, judgment, of let there be a firmament, as is stated in the Zohar. Each day has its function. Nevertheless, in each day there is specifically an inter-inclusion of the other days as known. This is because it is specifically when the light comes into the vessel, which is called day, that an inter-inclusion of one thing with its opposite occurs. This is because, when the matter comes to be influenced in actuality, it is impossible that kindness will not have the aspect of judgment inter-included in it, or that judgment will not have the aspect of kindness inter-included in it. This is not the case, however, when the light and influence remains without a vessel, as of yet. An example of this is a halachic legal ruling, which is specifically for the purpose of practical application. Of necessity, there will be an interinclusion of kindness within the judgment, or of judgment within the kindness. However, this is not the case when the ruling is not necessarily for practical application. From all the above, we find that the primary aspect of interinclusion is in the aspect of the externality of the organs, the vessels, which relate to action. This will suffice for those of understanding. However, at first glance, there seems to be a contradiction to all this. This is because in reality, the fact that the light is capable of radiating within its opposite organ, vessel, is because of the sublimation of the organ, the vessel, to the light. This comes about by means of the aspect of the inner name of Ma, which is the source of the aspect of the interinclusions in the lights, specifically from the radiance of the kav, the line. It is specifically for this reason that the interinclusion is in the innerness of the organs, the vessels. Note: an example of this is the devotional intent in the performance of the mitzvah commandments, which includes two opposites. This is similar to the matter of the atzamot v'gidin, bones and tendons, etc. This is not the case, however, in the actual action. End note. Rather than in the externality. This is because, as known, one angel cannot perform two opposite missions. This is because all sending forth of influence comes about specifically from the externality of the vessels which brings out the influence. This is similar to the external vessels of the letters and the like. It is for this reason that the face of the lion is to the right, etc., and they are not capable of changing their function, nor can they join together to exchange missions with each other. Because of this, the Zohar states, each day specifically has its own function. However, the explanation of the matter is that because the inner aspect of the organs, vessels, receives from the aspect of the inner pervading lights which become limited within the organ, vessel, therefore, when there is an interinclusion in the lights, there is an automatic interinclusion in the innerness of the organs, the vessels. This is similar to the arousal and comprehension of the angels Michael and Gabriel, or Michael and Gavriel, etc. However, the externality of the organs, vessels, receive from the aspect of the potential power to limit, koach hagvul, which is in an aspect of an encompassing light. There can therefore be two opposites as one within them, which is the aspect of the interinclusion of one thing with its opposite specifically. This is similar to all miracles which specifically take place in the aspect of the externality of the vessels, which is the performance of the miracle in actuality. For example, every place in which a miracle is performed is a place which withstands a thing and its opposite simultaneously. This is to say that at once it includes that which is above nature within nature itself. An example of this is the transformation of the sea to dry land, and similarly the fact that the place of the Holy Ark was not according to natural measurable dimensions, as is explained elsewhere. Likewise, it is specifically from there that the source of divisions comes, to separate each thing unto itself. This comes about due to the aspect of the Kav Hamidah, the line of measurement in the encompassing light, since it is the source of the organs, the vessels, which limit. For this reason, the primary aspect of rectification is specifically the aspect of the abundance of subdivisions. It is specifically because of these subdivisions that there can be an abundance of interinclusions of one thing with its opposite as one. This is likewise the primary aspect of the man of rectification, Adam de Tikkun, about whom it states, Achor v'kedem tzartzenu, you have formed me back and front, which refers specifically to formation, Yitzirah, in a body of substance, Guf Chomer. Kedem, front, refers to the aspect of the simple substance, Chomer Pashut, that preceded the form, the Tzurah, which is the light. This is in the source of the organs, the vessels, which preceded the light. Achor, back, refers to the aspect of the organ, the vessel, of substance, which follows the investment of the light and form, etc. This will suffice for those of understanding. This is in accordance with the explanation of this matter elsewhere at length, and should suffice for those of understanding.